More than 4 years ago, I uploaded a video on YouTube with my personal tips on how to create a summary. For me, summarizing is a way to truly understand the study material and get prepared for an exam. I thought now would be a great time to create an updated guide on how to create a good summary for you. In this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks to create a summary that is clear, concise, and understandable, even after weeks of not reviewing the study material. If you're interested in all of this, keep watching. My name is Rose and I create videos about student lifestyle, and I try to make the life of students easier by sharing tips based on my own experience. This video is kindly brought to you by Mindomo. Before we dive into the video, I want to give some general comments about summarizing. So first of all, summarizing is quite time consuming, so you should always decide for yourself if you actually have the time to do it. If you don't, other study methods might be more convenient for you. Secondly, creating useful summaries takes lots of practice. So your first summary is not going to be like the summary you write after 2 years of consistent summarizing your study materials. But don't worry, it's a skill that everyone can learn, and you will only improve along the way. Lastly, before you start writing your summary, make a decision for yourself whether you'd like to handwrite your summary or type it on your laptop. This decision is important because writing takes more time, but you'll remember the material better and you have more freedom to draw things, for example. Typing is faster, but you'll remember less than when you'd write it out. You have less options to draw things, for example, but you can easily erase mistakes or modify the document. Now let's start with the summary tips. Go to the lectures and pay attention to the things the lecturer is emphasizing during class. The things the lecturer is discussing during class are probably more important for the exam later on. The lecturer will also give you an initial idea on what parts of the reading material is important and what is not, which will be very helpful to you later when you're creating your own summary. Also, a lecture can provide you with a perspective that can differ from the one in your textbooks. So for example, I've had many classes where the lecturer did not follow the book or discuss entirely different things than in the book. In that case, the book provides you with background information that will help you to understand the study material better. If it is difficult for you to summarize, maybe all you need is an outline or a basis. You could use the content table in your book as an outline for the summary. If you do this, you basically start your summary with a list of all the titles and subtitles of your textbook. The only thing you need to do then is add information to each of the titles, and then your summary is finished. Another thing you can do is to use a summary from someone else as a basis for your own. It saves a lot of time, and the only thing you need to do is to edit the summary. You can add things that are missing, remove things that are unimportant, and then you have an updated summary as well. You can find such summaries on the internet for free or a few bucks, or through student organizations that create summaries for certain courses. I would recommend to be careful with this and make sure you use a summary of high quality. Using someone else's summary does not replace the work that you need to put in the course. You still need to read your textbook, you still need to go to classes, etc. I would advise to only do this if you are in need of time or if you're having a hard time summarizing yourself. So when you're writing the summary, you first need to identify what source is the most important for your exam. If the exam is mostly going to be based on lectures, summarize that first. If your exam is mostly going to be based on the textbook, start with summarizing that. After summarizing the most important source for your exam, you can summarize other things and add it to your summary. So for example, extra articles you have to read. When you're writing a summary, it is very important to make sure you have a good overview of the study material and that the study material is as clear as possible. So let me explain that to you. Reading is a two-step process. First, you interpret the sentences, and then you create a mental image and hold it in your mind. A summary helps to reflect that mental image you just created in your mind and to understand it better and see it from a new perspective. If you're studying for the exam later on, you don't have to go through the 2 steps anymore because you don't have to create that mental image anymore to understand the study material. One way to achieve that is by using mind maps. I'm going to explain how to successfully use mind maps for creating summaries with Mindomo, which is a free online tool for creating mind maps, outlines, and for organizing your life. I'm collaborating with them for this video to give you some tips on how to use mind maps for studying and summarizing. Creating mind maps helps us to focus on the main idea and see how different concepts are connected with each other. This will help you to understand the study material a lot better. With Mindomo, you can easily work out different concepts of a subject and create an overview of the whole summary. You can create a mind map fast using different shortcuts, and you can customize lots of things so you can adjust the mind map to your taste. There's also a search bar which makes it very easy to find concepts quickly in all your mind maps. You can also add more resources to your mind maps, for example links, images, videos, documents, Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, or directly search on Google, YouTube, and Vimeo. Mindomo can also be used for creating outlines, which is also a great tool for creating summaries. You can also use Mindomo to collaborate in real time with other people to work on a mind map or outline together, so you can have it done faster. You can use Mindomo using the website version or through the app that you can find in the App Store or Google Store. You can create a free account on Mindomo with the link that you can find in my description box, and I will also leave more information there in case you are interested in learning more about this useful tool. When you're summarizing your textbook, start with annotating the most important things using a highlighter. This will help you to visually outline the most important things, so it will be easier to summarize. When you're finally starting to summarize your textbook, all the important things already have a color. I have mentioned this in a few videos before, but one tip I have learned from experience is that you can usually find the main idea of a paragraph in the first or the last sentence. That sentence is usually the sentence that sums up the key idea of that paragraph and what the author is trying to say. So that's a tip you can keep in mind. Don't forget to cover all your study material. You don't just need to summarize the classes in your textbook, but you also need to do the working groups, assignments, tutorials, etc. For example, if I'm learning about contracts in school, I first summarize my books and lectures, and then at the end I write down the most important things I've learned in my working groups, in assignments, etc. Another tip I have is to start in advance. You don't want to start just a few days before your final exam, and if you try, you'll probably run out of time. If you're going to summarize a whole book, you need to start a few weeks beforehand, especially if it's a big exam. If possible, make the summary as clear as possible. You want to keep an overview of the material rather than have one large chunk of text. Work with diagrams and charts and whatever you need to display the study material. You should have a clear layout. There is not one right way to do it. You can just experiment with different layouts until you find something that really works for you. To have a good overview on the material that is in your summary, use headers and titles to understand what your summary is saying at a glance. I quickly want to discuss a concept with you that I like to call panic summaries, and I don't think it's an actual real thing, but it's something that me and my sisters always used to do when the exam was rapidly approaching and we were desperate to get a grip on the study material and learn it super fast. Basically, a panic summary is a brief summary of the summary, consisting of only things I do not know by heart yet. So let me explain this to you. Once I have worked my way through all my study materials, I usually end up with a pretty long summary. This summary has everything inside of it. When my exam is approaching, I usually already know about 80 to 90% of the study material by simply keeping up with the study materials during the semester. I write down the last 10 to 20% in the panic summary, so I'll have a summary exclusively consisting of things I do not know by heart yet. So this is usually only 1 to 2 pages, and that is the only thing I have to cram to remember during the exam. This method truly takes the studying to another level, and it makes sure that I know everything on the exam. Those were all my tips and advices for creating useful, quality summaries. If this was helpful to you, make sure to let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and leaving a comment under this video. If you want to see more videos about study tips and student lifestyle, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!